Hello guys, today we're going to talk about the new movie Guns Akimbo. I think that's how you pronounce it. It was just released, it was released close to this year. Um, it's kind of weird because this movie is technically been out in 2019, had a limited release, and then it was released again February of this year, and it's available to. We'll get to the details in a little bit, but anyway, so this movie was released in 2019. It's rated R. It's about hour 35 long. It has 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb with about 11,000 ish user votes. It has 45% on Metacritic with 9 critics, not a lot. It stars Samara Weaving, who was in Ready or Not, and of course Daniel Radcliffe, who was of course in the Harry Potter stuff. And it's directed by Jason Leah Howden, who made who wrote Deathgasm, but also worked on visual effects for movies like The Avengers. Um, on Rotten Tomatoes, the movie has 53% with 53 critics. Still a little early. And it doesn't have an audience rating. Now, I looked on it before I did the video, and it did, so I don't know what changed. Sometimes when movies get re-released, it fucks up with the rating system. There are reviews of it, but it shows as 0. But there are reviews of it, mostly positive. So on the Just Watch app, the movie isn't available to stream or buy, but it is available to rent on Amazon, YouTube, Google Play, iTunes, Vudu, Microsoft Store, and Redbox. And yeah, the movie was re-released February 2020. I don't have a DVD release. It hasn't really been shown on that yet. So basically, I'm not going to give anything away. And yes, there's a lot of funny moments in this movie. It definitely kind of reminds me of Deadpool, but I think what separates this movie from Deadpool is that this one has a lot of social commentary. And what specific areas, I'm not going to say. Again, spoilers. So I'm not going to say that. But I will say, like, action. The action's great in this movie. I really love the action. Characters. I thought the characters were great. I do. It is the ending is. They do stress in this movie that it's not gonna be that cliched story, and it is. Because I mention that because a lot of movies they do say they're not cliched while being cliched. They kind of fall in that trap. Well, if we acknowledge it's a cliche, we can get away with actually using it, but you can only get away with that so much. This movie, it kind of it's hard to describe. I think the biggest thing in this movie, will you get your money's worth? If you expect Daniel Radcliffe, like, I mean, any movie that sparks a meme with Daniel Radcliffe with guns bolted to his hands while he's in a bathrobe and shorts and bathrobe and shirt with underwear and slippers on a street. That's the kind of movie you're getting. I will say the other character, Samara, the character she plays, she kind of steals the show a little bit. In all honesty, you wouldn't have known any better if it wasn't for the Daniel Radcliffe. I mean, you could have easily just made this movie about her. In all honesty, um, any sore points with the movie? Not really. It is funny, but it is for a niche audience. I would say people who love Deadpool will like this movie. It's it's pretty much that same style. I don't want to say same humor because it's not fourth wall break. It's just the same kind of campy, ultra violent, hard R movie that's been made in the last 10 years, aimed for tweens and young adults. It's that kind of movie. Although the visuals are great, the soundtrack's fantastic as well. The story is ambitious, kinda. I do like it. I think if they wanted to be a more, I think if they were gonna, the thing is the villain. I don't know how quite I feel about the villain. Because on one hand, it is performed by a well-proven good actor, and he's not bad, but I still don't know how I feel about him because I don't really. I have to rewatch it again. I don't know how I feel about him, so I'm not gonna say anything on that. But yeah, I I think my only thing it is hour and a half's a great length for a movie like this. I will. Oh, another thing. I will say this. This movie screams. It oozes that it should have been made in the 80s. I've been noticing that a lot of movies aimed toward younger crowds are pretty much 80s movies made today. That's the thing. Like it's and I love that, but it kind of bothers. The only reason that might bother me is because there's some people that don't like old movies, but yet they love movies made now that are made in the exact same fashion that they were made back in the day. It's just the only difference is they use a digital camera and shit like that, just little things. That really bothers me because it's like you're just ignoring like all that past history of great filmmaking just because it's old. It always bothered me, and it bothers me more when they praise movies that are pretty much the same kind of movie, give or take a few little things. But yeah, overall, I do love this movie. I definitely think it's worth a rent. Um, it's not much I can say about this movie other than it's ultra violent. If you want crazy Daniel Radcliffe, you're gonna get him to a degree. Um, I'm not gonna say to what length how crazy it gets in a movie. I will say I don't think anyone should be surprised. I mean, he was in Horns, and that's another video I could do one day because that's a good movie to talk about. Um, and if you know what kind of shit Daniel Radcliffe is shooting for at this point in his career, you shouldn't be surprised he's in a movie like this. In all honesty, um, I think the only thing I kind of wish the movie, I almost wish the movie could have been a bit more. I don't know. I think the movie could have been because the movie definitely has comic booky elements in it, but I think there could have been a bit more. I'm kind of grasping at straws. I don't really find anything wrong with this movie, other than it's might not be made for niche audiences. Oh, by the way, I didn't read the critics' consensus on Rotten Tomatoes. I apologize for that. The critics' consensus is frenetic to a fault, Guns Akimbo may leave some viewers reaching for the kill switch, but for others, its video game style violence will have plenty of replay value. Yeah, it's pretty much what I've said. I think the only thing I think the only thing I kind of wish they did more of, I just think they could have been. It's hard to. I need to watch it again. It's one of those movies where I feel like it's a I wouldn't call it polarizing, but it's one of those movies where it's like its reputation has been built up because of the memes and limited releases before the major release that it's kind of hard to not wanna see it. And you have certain expectations for it, of course, to an extent because your expectations are based around memes. So you can only get so much from that. So, but yeah, I do like this movie. I definitely recommend it. Would yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Do I think it's his best movie? That's hard to say. I will say everyone will say the Harry Potter movies. Everyone knows him for those. But in all honesty, after seeing those movies, because I did binge watch them with Corey a while ago for the first time, and watching like Horns, which was actually my first Daniel Radcliffe movie I ever seen was Horns. And this movie, I have to say, I kind of like him a little bit more after Harry Potter. He seems to play more. I don't know the thing with Harry Potter movies, which I won't get a lot into because I do plan on doing those at some point as well, is that they don't really the thing with Harry Potter, he's kind of written as like the chosen one character, And what happens with those characters is a lot of times they don't get in with a lot of specific traits because they want people in the audience, people who love it, to pretend they want them blank so it's easier for kids and stuff to kind of pretend that they're that character so they can kind of put themselves in those shoes. I mean, because if the main character has too many specific stuff, it makes it harder for a general audience to relate to, so it makes them harder to get invested in. That's the trick. That's why you see a lot of main characters are made super generalized in a lot of these stories, so the people reading or watching can put themselves in more easier. That's how they get sucked in. I know there's a definition for it or something. I just don't know the specifics on top of my head. But yeah, I do like this word Postat a little bit more because he's taking a lot more chances. He's doing a lot crazier stuff, and in my opinion, his acting has gotten better over time. I feel like in those movies he was a good actor, but I don't think the material always allowed him to shine because the writing was kind of held more toward him being in a specific way and not letting him kind of flex the acting muscles a bit more. But yeah, enough about that. Guns Akimbo, great movie. I recommend it. Check it out. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.